Beginning?
No.
No, good. Cut and paste.
So kind of supporting other people who are interested in mycology as well as meeting for mycology.
A meeting? Oh yeah, I do remember what I said. Yeah. Do you say you want to go back to that point?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do people come to the? Well, why do we have the holders, the fungal forays? Well, it's partly for mycologists to get to know each other, and it's a good way to get to know people and what they work on, and because we have a regular meeting. We didn't in the first time have meetings. By meeting I'm meaning we have paper presentation, a day of papers, people talking about their work. But it's also for people who aren't academic mycologists to come and catch up with what's changed and what's happening. And there are many so-called citizen scientists out there who are keen amateur people with a lot of knowledge of fungi in the field, and it helps partly to encourage them, and to also the actual collections become part of the national fungal collection at Landcare Research, and so it helps to bring the database of information about fungi into. As the challenge of fungi is very big, there's about 10 times as many fungi probably in New Zealand as there are higher plants, or perhaps more, and that takes quite a lot of work to get to document these and understand what they do.
Oh, so there's actually quite a lot of purposes for the
yes.
Okay, so you mentioned a few groups about who the fungal foray was for. So you mentioned mycologists, amateurs, and for science in general. So we're going to cover that question. So what do you feel your role is?
My role? Oh, well, my role is to go and find fungi. I can tell people about fungi. Some of them. I don't by any means know. None of the professional mycologists here really know all of the groups at all. They each have their own speciality, so tell people about one's speciality and point out that we don't know everything by a long way, and there's still plenty to learn.
So are you involved at all in organisations?
At present, not really. No, I have been in the past, but not mainly in the first one and maybe the first few, and not recently. We've got a good team though, but based at Landcare Research. And certainly with help from elsewhere, and this one was obviously organised down in Dunedin by David Orlovich, who's very active in the group. He's based at the University of Otago.
So where do you see the fungal foray going in the future? So it's quite the same?
I think it's getting to a pretty high level of sophistication when you realise what with the databases and linked information, all the data is being entered already into the database that will then can be fed into other databases and data accumulated. So in that side, we wouldn't see a lot of change. The collections, the format of that hasn't changed since we first started really. The people going out in small groups, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or a few more, and typically going to a particular site and seeing what they can find there, and then returning to the workroom sort of early afternoon usually to work up the specimens. So that sort of pattern I think would stay the same. Somebody has suggested, and we did do a bit more of this in the early days, that perhaps we could have talks by specialists on their own groups, just in the evening, small talks, not a big, as it were, presentations, and maybe there could be scope for that. Yeah.
So much of the same. So what is the kind of general feeling about the fungal foray? I mean, I was talking to David, and he said like some of the forays has been quite strict, and
David's very relaxed.
Yeah, very regimented and stuff. So do you think there's a nice feeling, people come together and...
Yeah. I mean, some people are more the organisation may impose more restrictions than other places. Some people like to have things a bit tidier than others. Present organiser is a very laid-back chap, so it's This present one is perhaps more laid back than some, but they all vary depending who's taken on the challenge of organising it. So, but there's a fair camaraderie amongst the participants, and I think that everybody gets on well. Basically, if people don't enjoy this sort of activity to an extent, they might come to one, and that's it. So.
Very true. So, what is your best memory of?
Oh, my best memory of a fungal foray. Oh, well, I mean, this present one is obviously the best. It's the most recent. And I found some interesting fungi. They tell me I found a couple of new Russula species, and the third or fourth one of another rare one. So that was good, especially as I don't work on these fungi. So I think just the Tiana one was pretty good. That was a few years back now. But they all have their specialities and particular memories. So none strongly stand out actually.
So you like them all?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you're more like a mycologist, of course. So what is your interest in fungi? How did you get started?
I haven't started in mycology. Well, I guess I've always been interested in plants. And my dad was an amateur botanist, and at university I studied botany, including mycology and plant disease work, plant pathology and plant genetics and these various topics, and in the end specialised for my PhD in fungal genetics, and that was sort of more as a genetic tool, and then I became more interested in fungi themselves and just followed on from that. So I have specialist interests in plant diseases, in the fungi that cause plant diseases, and also I've become interested in a small group of fungi called the truffles, which are unusual because they fruit underground or in the litter, and so there's not a lot of them in New Zealand, but they're a bit specialist, and they're a bit specialist to find, so that's part of the challenge of studying them.
Well, I think that is about it.
That is about it.
Yeah.
You're finished for the night. Anything else? Anything else to know? Oh, what should I add about that?
I don't know. This is for the archives.
Oh, the archives. Oh, no.
Add anything?
Yeah,
Stories about it?
Stories? About anybody? Oh, well, no,
that's it.
Oh, great. Well, there's been we've had a lot of overseas mycologists coming overall, and still there are a number at this meeting. So that's one of the extra advantages we didn't talk about earlier, because this again helps link people, say, in this foray from Tasmania, and their fungi have quite a lot in common with ours, but obviously differences as well. So that's one of the values of the meeting, and so I guess that overseas international thing, we have people from England here, we have people from the States, and so it's a world community, in fact, that we tap into through this, and they can and all welcome. And,